Hey everyone, in today's Brawl Stars video, we're going to be making a tier list on all of the Brawl Stars game modes, both past and present. So in here we've got all of the current game modes, plus the few game modes that have been removed from the game. I'm going to be ranking them in a tier list from F tier to S tier, and I'm just going to be giving my overall opinions on each game mode as we go. Without further ado, let's get into it. So we're going to go through alphabetically, so we're going to start off with Big Game, and I am going to be putting Big Game into the beta. Now, this is a bit controversial, but Big Game is my favourite ticketed event. I prefer it over Robo Rumble and Boss Fight. I think it's just much more fun and it's less repetitive, especially if you actually get to be the big brawler, and that is why it's my favourite ticketed event. Moving on now to another ticket event, we have Boss Fight, and that is going slap down in the bottom F tier. I despise Boss Fight. Every time it comes into rotation, I play it once to get my star token, and then I don't play it again. I find it really boring, really repetitive, and I think it needs a total rework. That's if they're not being removed in the next update. We'll have to see what's happening there. But for me, Boss Fight is in the F tier. I really hate it. Next up is Bounty, one of the original modes, and for me, that is going in the A tier. I find Bounty really fun, especially on maps like Snake Prairie where it's all in the bushes and it's just sort of sneaking around. I find Bounty really fun. It's one of my favourite modes, but it's not quite in the S tier for me. Next up we have Brew Ball. This is going in the A tier as well as Bounty. I think Brawl Ball is really fun. It's a really unique concept to port across into a mobile game, bringing in soccer or football, however you want to call it, into a mobile game. I think it's a really unique idea, and the way Supercell have executed it is really well done, and that is why it's one of my favourite modes as well. Next up we have Duo Showdown, and for me that is going in the S tier at the top. For me, Duo Showdown is one of the most fun modes, especially if you're teaming up with a friend, you're on a call with them, you're just having some fun. You can do many challenges on there, like you can do random brawler challenges. Make sure to check out that video that me and Skullgamer did a couple of weeks ago. And it's just really fun, and there's plenty of versatility and opportunity to play around with your friends there. Next up is Gem Grab, sort of the original mode, so the first mode you play when you download the game. That is going in the A tier as well. Gem Grab is a really fun mode. It's all about control and picking up the gems from the middle, and I think it's a really nice concept, and it's a really fun mode, especially when you have like a team comp with like Pam and Poco both together. You have ultimate healing power, and it's just really fun to be really dominant like that, and that is why I love Gem Grab and why it's one of my favourite modes. Next up is Heist, another original mode. For me, that is going in the beta. Heist is really fun, don't get me wrong. In my opinion, I find Heist a bit sort of 50-50. It's sort of luck based, I think, in my opinion. Like, it depends if you can get a really good push onto their safe, and then it depends how well they can counter back. And I find even if you're on the same team comp that's doing really well, you're inevitably going to find a team comp that beats you, and I don't really find it as fun as some of the other modes in the game. Okay, next up is Hot Zone, the temporary mode for Lunar New Year. I'm putting this in the A tier, and I think it's a really fun mode, and I would love it if Supercell brought it back in a future update. I think it had plenty of potential, and it's a real shame they removed it. Similar to Gem Grab in the way you're controlling the playing field, but obviously you don't get gems, you control areas on the map to score points. I think it's a really unique concept, and I think it's a real shame that Supercell removed it from the game. Next up is Lone Star, another game mode that Supercell removed, and for me that is going in the A tier. Now for me this is very close to going in the S tier, as Lone Star is or was one of my favourite modes, but I've put it down in the A tier just because there was sort of that luck element in it. For example, you could spend half of the game trying to find a player, and by that point you'll be in last place, and there's not really much you can do. And it was sort of down to luck. It was less skill than things like Showdown, which is for me why it's in the A tier and not the S tier. Next up we have Present Plunder, another game mode Supercell removed. This was here for Pirate Brawler days. For me that's going in the B tier. I think it was really fun. Like Hot Zone, it was all about getting control and getting things back to your zone. But I think it needed a few changes, like the super throw length should have been shorter, and the size of the zones to score in should have been a bit smaller. I think it was a bit too easy to score, and the meta was very stale in there. It was just sort of like Max, and that was it. She could just speed all the way up and down, and there wasn't really much you could do. So I think with a few tweaks, Present Plunder would definitely be up there in the A tier, and I really hope Supercell bring it back again in the future. Next up is Robo Rumble. This is going into the C tier. I think Robo Rumble is the sort of the middle ticketed event for me. It's not quite as good as Big Game, but it's far better than Boss Fight in my opinion. Similarly to Boss Fight, I find Robo Rumble quite repetitive, but I think with the opportunity to get so many so many keys there, it's a really good opportunity to progress and as a player and max out your account quite quickly. Next up is Showdown, and as you can probably guess, this is going straight into the S tier for me. Showdown, Solo Showdown is probably my favourite mode. I play it far more than Duo Showdown, just because I don't find the time really to sit down on a call with friends and play Duo Showdown with them. So I spend most of my time in Brawl Stars playing Solo Showdown. I just find it really fun. It's just sort of testing my skill against 9 other players' skill, and I love the concept of like a battle royale where you're moving into the center and it's the fight for the death. Okay, the penultimate mode here is Siege, and for me this is going in the F tier with Boss Fight. I've never been a fan of Siege. I hated it even more when it was double rewards but then double trophies and double trophies lost. So it's improved since then, but for me it's still in the F tier. Whenever Siege comes into rotation, I just sigh and I'm like, right, let's try and get my star key without losing a ton of trophies and then never play the mode again. And I just find it's really sort of luck based. Like you could have a level 5 robot for example, and you could push and you could do like 20% damage to that Ike, and the other team they could have like a level 2 robot and push you and do like take out your Ike in one push. And I just find it sort of all down to a bit of luck, and there's also a bit of luck with where the bolts spawn in the middle of the map. And overall I'm not really a fan of Siege at all. Okay, the last mode to do here is Takedown, another mode that was removed from the game. For me this is going in the C tier. I think Takedown was a really good concept, but similarly to Lone Star, it could take absolutely forever to actually reach the boss robot and deal any damage. And on top of that, there were obviously players trying to shoot you before you got to the boss robot, and sometimes it was really hard to actually deal any damage to the boss robot, and it just got a bit infuriating where you spent the whole game chasing after the robot only to die as soon as you got there, and you ended up in last place, and there wasn't really anything you could do about it. So it was a good mode, but it just needed some tweaks and improvements, and that would have probably been moving up to the B or the A tier. So this is my tier list for all of the game modes in Brawl Stars, both past and present. Let me know in the comments below your opinions on this tier list. What would you change? What do you agree with? If you want to make your own tier list in the comments, or I will put the template of this tier list in the description, and you can click on that link and you can put these game modes into there and then make your own tier list, and then leave a link in the comments to your tier list, or tweet me on Twitter, or send it to me on Discord, in my Discord server, which is linked in the description down below. I'll be really interested to see what your tier lists are like. In the future, I'd like to do some more tier lists, maybe on the different environments in the game, like Mortis's Mortuary, the pirate ship, or the classic gem grab mine. And I might also do tier lists for skins as well, so let me know if you want to see that in the comments below. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave a like, share it with all your friends, and most importantly subscribe with notifications on so you don't ever miss an upload from me. And I'll see you again very soon. Goodbye.